The Quran said that Jesus is the divine word of God. Again, Surah Ali Imran in verse 45 and Surah An-Nisa in verse 171 say that Jesus is the word of God. In religious philosophy, only God is called the Word. The Word is the philosophical name for God. If you ask the Muslim philosophers, what is God? Their responses will be, He is the Word. Interestingly, the Quran describes Jesus in the same way that God is described in Islamic philosophy. In other words, when the Quran says that Jesus is the Word of God, it means that He has the nature of God. Let me tell you how God as the Word works among people. When it comes to practice, the Word of God describes Himself in two ways. One way is through the written words, but the second way is through the personal revelation. Through the written words means that the Word of God describes Himself through the heavenly scriptures. Through the personal revelation means the Word of God reveals Himself personally. Through the written words, God describes His characteristics and His plan for us in order to prepare us for having a personal encounter with God. But the personal revelation of God is to reveal His glory to us personally in order to draw our attention to Him and prepare us to invite Him with His written words into our hearts. It is the personal presence of your worldly Father that makes His instructions relevant to you as His child. If your Father hides Himself from you, then the lack of intimate relationship makes His instructions impractical for an intimate life. This is the same in your relationship with God. If God does not have an intimate relationship with you, His distance will make His words distant from you. Since the Quran says that Jesus was touched by God personally and also calls Jesus by the personal name of God, it means that Jesus is the only one who can bring the written word of God or the Holy Scriptures into your heart and save you. This is the highest heavenly title that the Quran attributes to Jesus, but not to Muhammad. Muhammad is therefore unable to make the written words of God relevant to your life. Muhammad is not the personal word of God. Therefore, he will not be able to build an intimate relationship between you and God. That's why he said that he was not sure about his own future and was also unable to assure his followers. Secondly, unlike Jesus, he did not have a personal relationship with God and therefore would not be able to describe God to people as Jesus did. So we see that according to the teaching of the Quran, Jesus is introduced by the name of God, has tremendously higher spiritual position than Muhammad. You need to follow Jesus instead of Muhammad. The Quran says that Jesus is creator and healer. Surah Al Imran in verse 49. And Surah Al-Ma'idah in verse 110 says that Jesus created the bird, raised the dead and healed the blind. According to the Quran, Jesus is still alive and in heaven. Since he is alive, he still has power to create, to heal, and to raise people from the dead. But Muhammad did not have such heavenly power. All people need someone to heal and give life to them. We must honor a life-giving person more than the one who does not have such power. Wouldn't it be good if Jesus were your leader and you had assurance of healing and life? It would be good for you to follow Jesus.